The second guy who I recommend for you to really pay attention to, and this was the guy who kind of helped me when I was going through the phase with Anita, when I tried to get out of depression. His name is Nick Vujicic, N-I-C-K, Nick, V-U-J-I-C-I-C, okay, N-I-C-K, Nick, V-U-J-I-C-I-C, or you can put no limbs, life with no limbs. Now this guy, I was sitting depressed. This is something you should not do. When I was depressed with Anita's problem, I locked myself in the house. I put on sad music. I was, looking at her photographs, stuff that you should not do. I was looking at her photographs. I was looking at her love letters. I even had her underwear. I loved her so much. I had her underwear and I was to keep sniffing it. Not the dirty one. It was a perfumed one. It was a clean one. So it had her scent. So I used to have a bra and underwear, and I used to bury my face in that, and I used to look at all these romantic photographs and videos, and I used to bawl my eyes out. I used to cry, and that's something you should not do, okay? So I had all these memories and artifacts and moments of hers, and as I was going through crying, I suddenly, there's one music video which is sad violin. Don't listen to it because it's really good. It's beautiful, but it makes you really sad. So I was listening to that 100 times. I was bawling, I was crying and all that. And then suddenly I saw this guy, Nick Vujicic. I saw the video link with no limbs. I was like, what is this? I clicked on this. And this is a video of a guy with no limbs. Okay. And, what happened is, let me just put this phone on mute, otherwise, I keep getting all these calls. Okay, so what happened is, this guy is on a table. He's without arms, he's without hands, he's without legs, and he's making a lot of jokes. He's making people laugh, and he's talking about life without limbs. And then he says, what do you do when you fall down? And then he actually falls down on the table. I'll put the link below so you can click on the links. He falls down and he says, there's nothing I can do. He doesn't have arms, he doesn't have legs. He's just a body and he has a big head and he's just down. He's like, how do I get up? What do I do? And, that is how the story progresses. He gives this analogy that, when you fall down in life, you need to keep fighting to get back up. Now, in his case, he didn't have hands, he didn't have legs. So what he does, he shows as a metaphor that you need to get back up, and then he used his head and got to the side and then just pushed himself up, and then he gets up, so very powerful analogy. In fact, even this guy W. Mitchell, what he does is he gives this video where he says he had burnt his fingers. He just had 2 stubs, his hands are like this. He just had 2 stubs, and he said that the nurse was in charge of him. She would want him to really do tasks every day, and he would cry and he would moan and groan, but she wouldn't give in, So like one of the tasks was to move from the wheelchair, which was clunky and clumsy, onto a sofa, which was soft. So he wanted to be carried and put there. So he tells the nurse, and the nurse says, no, you struggle and lift yourself and get there. He's like, but I can't, and he shouts, and she tells him that just imagine how nice and soft it would be. So that kind of incentivizes him to really, push his body out of the wheelchair and go onto the sofa. Another one was where this guy, W. Mitchell, had to open the door. Okay, now there's a doorknob which we, use our fingers. So he had to open the doorknob with his stubs, okay, with just his, from his wrist onwards. And he tried and he struggled and he screamed and, he could not, and he grunted and, nobody was bothered. And he was like cursing and shouting and screaming and crying. But in the end, he realized nobody cares, So in the same way for me, when I watched Nick Vujicic, okay, I saw the video, I was like, I was crying. Imagine locking yourself up for fucking 3 months or 4 months and nobody fucking cares. I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, what the fuck do I do? What the fuck do I do? And then finally I was like, I need to get out of this. I really need to. So that is where my story actually began. The story of how to deal with depression. Okay. So now here I'm going to share with you 19 points. I've written down 19. I don't know if I'll get 20. But as of now, I have 19 points how to deal with depression. And I really hope it helps you. Okay.